Boom, Watch fam! What is up, Watch fam, and welcome to Ask TNH episode 116. I am Christian from Theo and Harris, and before we jump into today's episode, we'll do a quick wristwatch check. So right now I'm wearing an absolutely incredible chronograph. I'm not a big chronograph guy. I mean, I love them and I appreciate them as watches, as staples to vintage horology, but for me, I just don't wear them all that often. But there are a few like this Hellbros with this reverse panda dial, orange, center seconds, that, I mean, just totally blows my mind. So this watch is stunning. It is available in the shop at theoandharris.com. So if you haven't already, check that out right after this video. Oh, and follow us on Instagram. Like, do that. Like put Instagram, right? Theo and Harris on Instagram, because that's really where you see these watches most. We post, more watches and more updates and more just things TNH related on Instagram than any other medium. So check it out. Okay, so today's episode is about Audemars Piguet. Basically, get right down to it, AP makes one watch. They make the Royal Oak. They make it in 50 different variations. They made it in so many more than that over history, and that's the only watch that anybody really recognizes as AP, which is a real shame, right? I mean, they were such a beautiful vintage brand. They made so many amazing watches, and we'll get back to that in a second. But it's a shame that this brand, this hot horology brand, top 3 in the world, has come to the point where they make one watch. And everyone gives a shit about one watch. So that to me is a very sad, like, I'm a watch geek and I'm sad kind of moment. So the question that was raised to me, if AP ever made another watch, what would it be? I will say before this, though, that, I mean, AP does make other watches. They make the Jules Audemars, they make a couple of other big complications. They do make other watches, but they have no impact. They're not on Instagram, they're not really being purchased. I don't see them out in the wild. Like the Jules Audemars, I see more Piguet than those. I mean, put it this way, no other AP watch, right, apart from the Royal Oak, has AP stamped on it. Like it's like just the aesthetic. Take away the actual, words. Look at the watch or the case back or anything and say Audemars Piguet. Nothing does. Whereas Patek absolutely does. Patek has chronographs, and if you took away the Patek logo or whatever, it's Patek. They have the Nautilus and the Aquanaut. Right there alone, that's more than AP has. So I think that other brands do it so much better. Rolex has the same thing. Take away Rolex off the dial, 100% every day of the week, people are going to recognize day dates, everything. Oyster Perpetuals, of course, they're all Oyster cases, but still, these are many different watches within a brand that people recognize and care about. Different ways to spend money. But whereas this Jules Audemars, it could be anything. It could be a Piaget. It could be a Mont Blanc, for f***'s sake. So I think that's a problem. So if AP were to introduce one watch right now, or a line of watches right now, what would it be, and why? I'm going to reference an article for this that was posted on Bexon. Vintage AP made absolutely incredible complications. Annual calendars, perpetuals, retrograde dates. I mean, so many different things in very dressy cases that, to me, nobody else does right now. Yes, Vacheron Constantin is doing a terrific job with their Historiques line, with their Corne de Vache watches. Really, they're doing the best out of anybody at this, but still, AP could do it and do it in an even more AP way. I'm almost in favor of basically doing reissues. I don't think there's any shame in that. I'm not saying that you should actually call it a reissue or actually take exactly what it was, but I would love to see very small, deviations from what they used to make. I mean, please I hope you're putting up these photos right now of these watches back then. I mean, look at this square watch. I mean, white gold, a most fine watch. I'm not saying, produce them in mass quantity. I can totally see how this watch doesn't have mass market appeal. I see that. But tweak it up a little bit, make it a little bit more modern. I would pick this over Reverso any day. Sorry, Reverso, and I love the Reverso. I mean, these watches to me have so much character. They have more character than most Patek, than most Vacheron, than most Jaeger-LeCoultre, or anything. So I think it's an absolute shame that AP has become known and only known for the Royal Oak. Yes, it's the watch that saved Audemars Piguet, no question. And I would even be in favor of every AP watch here on out referencing or paying homage in some way to the Royal Oak. No problem with that. Maybe the octagon case somewhere on the case back, maybe in a finished way. I don't know what they would do. Like maybe the way that that Philippe Dufour does the devil's horns, AP could do the octagon. I don't know how they would do it, but I do think there's an opportunity there, and an opportunity and a justification to reference and to pay homage to the Royal Oak, because it is that important of a watch in watch history and certainly in AP history. But in my opinion, to become a real brand, and of course they are a real brand and massively successful, everyone in the world wants one, but to become a full brand, once again, they need another watch. They need another line of watches. And within that line, I think they can have at least 3. You don't need to, redo them every year. You don't need to introduce new things every year, but you can absolutely make one of the best kick-ass motherfucking chronographs in the world, coming from a house that hasn't really produced anything exciting, in a long time. So that's kind of my thought. Bring it back, guys. Bring it back all the way to the days in which your watches went far beyond, Gerald Genta. And I love Genta, but went beyond that. Went into the intricate, to the refined, to the, real classic, but complicated. I think the annual calendar is a complication that they can really capitalize on. I mean, they can absolutely finish it, beautifully. They could do all this wonderful stuff, but ultimately they can keep the price relatively down because it's not a perpetual. They can keep it still in competition with Vacheron, for example, because Vacheron's doing a lot of work right now with kind of the throwbacks. So I could see why they want to stay in that market. They want to compete with them. They should be competing, in my opinion, with the Datograph, the Vacheron, the historic collection, and things like that. You're talking about the $40,000 to $90,000 range. Even the Patek 5170. These are watches that they need to be competing with. And apart from the Royal Oak, they're not. I think that Audemars Piguet, in my opinion, has the easiest out, or like get out of jail card to make an absolute, not a splash, an explosion at an SIHH or at a Baselworld. If they introduce something like this, even if just one watch, it would cause mayhem. People would absolutely go nuts for this because, modern size chronographs with vintage appeal have been on fire recently. Not only are they making more of them, but people are eating them up. But that's it, guys. I think I got my point across. Thank you so much for watching Ask TNH, episode 116. Don't forget to check out the watch shop at theoandharris.com.